Hey guys, I'm Steph and welcome back to my beauty stash. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my top 5 brands when it comes to foundation. You guys know I love doing foundation reviews here on my channel. Lord knows I've tried a good number of foundations over my 39 years of life. So I feel really confident in recommending these brands to check out maybe the next time that you're looking to add a new foundation to your stash. I thought about a lot of different things when I was putting this list together, and you guys know I always like to keep my favorites to 5. So if you guys watch my monthly favorites video, I always just share with you guys my top 5 favorite products for that particular month. And in other like ranking type of videos, I try to keep it just to 5 because 10 is fine too, like 10 is great, but sometimes I feel like anything over that can definitely be overwhelming. And so at first I was gonna do a top 10 list, but I thought, you know what? Let me just cut this down. Let me narrow it down, and that way that'll give you guys some really good options the next time you're gonna go foundation shopping. And some of you might be looking for a new foundation right now. Hopefully this video will be able to help you. Now these brands are gonna be in no particular order, and I am gonna give 2 honorable mentions, one to a high-end and one to a drugstore towards the end of the video. But let's get started, guys. Let's get started diving into some of my favorite brands when it comes to foundation. So if you guys want to see what made the list, keep on watching. Now guys, really quick on the makeup that I'm wearing, I am just getting home from work. I've had this makeup on for an easy 9-10 hours already, and I'm getting ready to go for a run. That is why I'm in my workout clothes, but I thought, you know what? My makeup still looks pretty good from this morning, so I was just gonna share with you really quick. I am finally trying this Essence Pretty Natural Hydrating Foundation. I think this is the 2nd time that I wear it, and I wore a mask all day long, and I think my makeup looks pretty good. For the eyeshadow, I'm wearing the 2 Hello Kitty and ColourPop collaborations. The orange one is called Teeny Keeny, and the pink one is called Cherry Sweet. The powder that I use to set this face with is the Thrive Causemetics Soft Focus HD Setting Powder. I think this is out of stock right now, but I will still have all of these products linked in the description box of this video in case you want to check anything out. And the concealer I'm wearing is from L'Oreal. So just wanted to get that out of the way in case you were wondering what I was wearing. But let's jump into these foundations. Now, the first brand on my list is Lancome. I have been wearing Lancome foundations for years, ever since I was in high school. When I was in high school, I did pageants, and I usually went to the Lancome counter to get my makeup done. I have here the Tint Idole Ultra Wear Foundation. This one does have SPF 15. It comes in a wide array of shades, and it provides 24-hour wear. Now, I've never worn it for 24 hours, don't ever plan to, but this definitely gets me a good 12-hour wear, and for me, guys, that's enough. I just need my foundation to look good for 10, 12 hours, and then whatever it needs to do after that, completely understandable. But Lancome has so many variations in their foundations. This is the stick version of this foundation. This I discovered this year. I think it was reformulated, repackaged this year, and so I picked it up. I've already done a wear test on this, so I'll have it linked up above. And I will have my foundation playlist listed in a pinned comment of this video. This is an amazing stick foundation. I traveled with it over the summer. It lasts. It lasts all day long. This is so quick and easy to apply. And Lancome doesn't just have like full coverage foundations like this. They have, you know, medium coverage. They have sheer coverage. They have foundations that are going to provide a matte finish. They have foundations more geared towards mature or dehydrated skin. There's something for everybody in the Lancome line, and more often than not, guys, these foundations are gonna last all day long. Next up is Dior. I've always enjoyed wearing Dior makeup. I don't have a lot in my stash, but what I've always had in my stash are foundation and concealer. So these are the two foundations that I pulled, and I'm only pulling out two foundations that I have per brand. This one is the Dior Undercover 24-Hour Full Coverage Foundation. This is full coverage while still being very lightweight, because this is kind of like a, I don't want to say a serum formula, but it's not an incredibly thick foundation. It's a very lightweight, very creamy, very nice coverage foundation. I would say that this provides like a natural finish. And I typically wear shade 1N when it comes to Dior. This one is shade 10. And then this other one I have, this is a more medium coverage foundation, and this is the Dior Face and Body, or the Backstage Face and Body Foundation. This one is, oh, I pulled shade 2W on this one, but I normally wear 1N. I have that one also. This was just the one I grabbed. This one is a little too dark for me. That's why I bought the other shade. But if you want a foundation that's even more lightweight than this one, this Backstage Face and Body Foundation from Dior is absolutely amazing. And here's so that you can see the shade on the Backstage one. This is a 2N, and then this is shade 10. So definitely shade 10 and shade 1N are my shades when it comes to Dior. But what I like about Dior is they also, like Lancome, have so many different formulations, and they just last all day. That is the thing with Lancome and Dior and another brand that I'm going to be sharing with you right now. They stand the test of time. A lot of these products have been in their line for quite some time, so the brand has had time to perfect the formula. So if you're looking for a new high-end foundation to add to your stash, and maybe you've never bought a Dior foundation before, I'd definitely recommend checking out at least these two, because these two are my favorite Dior foundations that I currently have in my stash. And I also recommend the concealer. The concealer is amazing. Next up is L'Oreal. I definitely had to include this brand in today's video just because I have so many favorites when it comes to L'Oreal, but these were the two that I grabbed to share with you all today. This is the latest one, and this is the True Match Nude Hyaluronic Tinted Serum. I use the shade 2-3 Light in this one. I've reviewed it. Guys, this is a beautiful, beautiful foundation. I highly recommend checking it out. And I think I forgot to mention this early on in the video, but if it's your first time here, hi, first and foremost, my name is Steph. Welcome to my channel. But I am 39 years old and I have a normal to oily skin type, oily primarily in my T-zone. This worked amazing on me. It worked amazing on my skin. It lasted for the full 10-hour wear that I gave it. This is worth checking out. This is a little higher priced than most L'Oreal foundations. This comes in at around $20, but I'm thinking that the reason why it's priced at this point is because it's considered skincare, because it is the first hyaluronic acid or 1% hyaluronic acid tinted serum like ever, I guess, at the drugstore. So for me, that's what I'm thinking as far as the price point, but get it at Ulta. Use the coupon so you can get it for like 17, 16 bucks, but this is worth checking out, as is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte. I've always had this in my stash. This just works so great on my normal to oily skin. I also have the Glow version. I also have the L'Oreal Fresh Wear Foundation. Love those foundations as well. And there's just been so many other L'Oreal foundations. The True Match Foundation, I have that one also. When I was looking to see, okay, what drugstore foundations am I gonna wanna include in this video, L'Oreal was the first one that popped into my mind, just because I have like 5 different ones in my stash and I trust it. I trust the brand, especially when it comes to buying drugstore foundation. You can't always try those products out in store, at least not in my area. Everything is pretty much, you know, wrapped up and you're not really supposed to open anything. So for me, I'm just like, I need to go based off of my prior experience with the brand. And when it comes to the drugstore, guys, L'Oreal, I think, is the best, or one of the best when it comes to foundations. They just have so many different ones to choose from. And I like that the majority of them are gonna give you good coverage without being too heavy and too cakey on the skin. Now, I kind of thought like doing L'Oreal / Maybelline just because they are the same brand. But then I was thinking, you know what? I think L'Oreal might own a couple of these other brands too. So I'm not too sure. I forget these mega companies. I forget which ones they own and what other brands are under them. But I do know Maybelline is under L'Oreal, and Maybelline does have pretty good foundations as well. So I would put L'Oreal and Maybelline about the same, but I definitely have more L'Oreal in my stash. So I highly recommend checking out L'Oreal foundations if you haven't done so already, which I'm pretty sure is very few of you. L'Oreal has been around since the beginning of makeup. They created makeup, and it's no wonder that they're landing in the top 5 foundations here in my stash. Next on my list, Estee Lauder. I, like Lancome, have been wearing Estee Lauder for years, ever since I was high school, maybe even before when I was playing around with makeup in middle school. But I had acne. I had acne growing up. So I was, even in middle school, putting concealer, a light foundation, anything to try and cover my acne. And I'm pretty sure Estee Lauder was in my stash back then. These are the 2 foundations that I pulled. These are more of their recent foundations. This is the Futurist Hydra Rescue. I just ordered a new tube of this from the 21 Days Ulta Beauty sale. I ordered a new shade as well because this shade is a little bit too dark for me. This is 1W2 Sand. And in Estee Lauder foundation, I typically wear shade 1N. So there you can see the Futurist foundation. This is a beautiful foundation. I think definitely if you have dry skin, normal skin, you're gonna love this foundation if you haven't tried it already. It's a medium coverage, but I feel I get full coverage out of it. I have enjoyed this foundation so much. You do get SPF 45, so that's pretty good too. This one is their latest one. This is the Double Wear Sheer Longwear Makeup with SPF 19. This is the one I have in my correct shade, which is 1N1 Ivory. And let me just put these next to each other so you can definitely see there's a huge shade difference there. But this new one is definitely very lightweight and provides a matte finish. I think it's more of like a satin finish, and you can build it up ever so slightly. I like to just spot conceal right here on the sides of my cheeks when I wear this one, but it lasts all day long. Just like the Futurist Hydra Rescue, just like my regular Double Wear Estee Lauder foundation, which I also have in my stash. This is a really good one to check out if you're wanting to go more of like the skin tint route, but still want something that's going to provide a little bit of coverage and get you through a good workday's wear. Estee Lauder, like L'Oreal, are they affiliated with each other? I forget. But an amazing brand when it comes to foundation. Like Estee Lauder rarely disappoints when they create a foundation. At least that is what I have found. I've been enjoying their foundations since the beginning, and I have no plans to stop buying from Estee Lauder anytime soon. And finally, the last brand, Fenty Beauty. I could not make this video without including Fenty somewhere in the mix, whether it was going to be in the top 5 or the honorable mention, but I had to include Fenty just because they are a relatively young company. But when they created their first foundation, when Rihanna set out to change the makeup game, she did, because she dropped 50 shades with her first foundation release. And in that time, every Fenty foundation that has been released since has a lot of shades to choose from. This is the Fenty Eavesdrop. This one doesn't come in 50 shades, but I think it comes in 20 or 25 different shades. And since this is more of a skin tint, it really is more forgiving shade-wise. I use shade 3 in this one. And then she also has powder foundation, and I have really been enjoying the powder foundation. I forget how many shades come in this one, but this is definitely one that you can layer on top of any one of her other foundations, or you can wear it on its own with just some concealer. The way I have worn this in the past, or the way I prefer to wear it, is just by itself with concealer. That's how it works best for me. I didn't really like this pairing right here between the Eavesdrop and the Pro Filter Soft Matte Foundation. I prefer this one on its own and this one on its own. But the first foundation that Fenty released, which I am so glad that she just announced she's making a mini size, because how many of us, if you're like me, I buy a lot of foundation, obviously, because I try a lot of makeup and foundations are my favorite thing to buy. But I've had foundations that they go bad on me just because, you know, I have so many to choose from. I don't usually wear the same one on a daily basis. And that's what happened with my first Fenty foundation, the Pro Filter Matte. So when she announced that she was coming out with a smaller size, I was like, yes, that's what I'm gonna buy. That's what I'm gonna buy, because if I buy a full size, I am likely not gonna get to use it all before it expires. Now, Fenty also has a hydrating foundation that I did review very early on in my YouTube days, but that one didn't work for me. I used it for a few days and it didn't sit well on my skin. It kind of broke up early on in the day and it looked a little cakey. It just wasn't for me. The original Pro Filter Matte, the powder foundation, Eavesdrop, I am all for those. And if you notice, guys, the 4 foundations in the Fenty line are all extremely different from one another. You have a skin tint, you have a powder foundation, you have a full coverage matte foundation, and you have a more medium coverage hydrating foundation, all with an amazing shade range, pretty nice packaging, and also amazing quality. That's why I had to include Fenty in this top 5 video. Now, my 2 brands that are honorable mentions, and I specifically wanted to do one high-end, one drugstore when doing these honorable mentions. Let's start with the drugstore, Wet n Wild. This was hard for me, guys. Like, I wanted to include it in my top 5, but I felt like these other brands just gave us a little bit more, like a smidge more. But Wet n Wild has definitely changed up their game. They are here for it and they are making amazing products, not just foundation, but this Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator is special. If you have not tried this, go to your local grocery store, pick up a bottle. It is $5, $6 at the most. It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. I have the shade, what shade do I have? I have the wrong shade. I have the shade Light. I think I need to get the shade right below it, which I'm hoping is Fair Light. This one is just a little too dark for me. This lasts all day long. A beautiful natural finish. Gorgeous, gorgeous. I've worn it under a mask. I've worn it just being out here in the hot South Texas sun and humidity. This is fantastic. This is one of the best in my stash, and at this amazing price point. It also has hyaluronic acid in it. It's oil-free. It's just goals. And I know a lot of people don't like the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation because of the smell. I just overlook it. It smells like paint thinner. You know, it smells like paint. I overlook it. I like both the original and I like the dewy. I also like the stick formulation. As you can see, there are definitely a lot of Wet n Wild foundations that I do enjoy, and that's why I struggled. I struggled with putting them in the top 5 or not. But I think the honorable mention category is a good place for Wet n Wild to be sitting at their amazing price point, guys. They're cruelty-free. Give them a shot. Give them a shot. I would say the only thing Wet n Wild needs to work on is the shade range, and that's about it. And lastly, IT Causemetics. How do I not include IT Causemetics in a foundation favorites? IT Causemetics has really changed the foundation game. And I struggled. Should I put this in the top 5? Should I put this in the top 5? And the only reason I didn't is because sometimes I feel their foundations or CC creams, because they're not even foundations, I feel like they tend to overlap one another. Like sometimes I feel I can't really see a difference from the CC cream to the Your Skin But Better foundation or the Bye Bye foundation. to me, I feel they kind of just run into each other, and in a way they're kind of duping themselves. But this one was a game changer. It will always be in my stash. I will always enjoy using this foundation. Again, I'm a normal to oily skin type. I have friends that are more on the drier side of skin types, and they love this. They swear by it. This one comes in an illuminating finish. It also comes in a matte. It comes in an oil-free. So there are different versions of this. Now, I remember when Causemetics first came out, there wasn't a big shade range. I think it has since been improved, but it's nowhere near the Fenty level. So like the Wet n Wild, I would say just keep making more shades. Keep making more shades, keep broadening your base. That way you can attract more customers. But I mean, Causemetics, like, how could I not? How could I not include it? Especially this CC cream. This is what put Causemetics on the foundation map. All right, guys, so those were my top 5 plus 2 honorable mention brands for foundation. Guys, I realize that there are a lot of good brands out there when it comes to creating foundation, and definitely, like, if I could have included them all, I would. But like I told you guys earlier, I just wanted to narrow it down. I really wanted to take a look at my stash, the brands that I've been using for X amount of time, different types of foundations that are offered within the brand, shade range, and all of that stuff. And I definitely feel like I got a nice, well-rounded top 5 and couple honorable mention lists going on. And guys, please don't be offended if I didn't mention your favorite brand, or maybe I mentioned a brand you absolutely can't stand. I'm just going based off of my experience with these brands and what has worked for me, and I can honestly recommend all 7 of these brands to you because there's just something for everybody, and that's what I like. You can definitely find your place within one, if not all, of these foundation brands. But let me know your thoughts. What are your top 5 or top 3? What is your top favorite brand when it comes to foundation? Leave it in the comment of this video. And guys, don't forget, I currently have a giveaway going on. It is mentioned in my previous foundation review video, which is for the Flawless Conceal the Dior Foundation. I will have it linked up above as well as in the description box, so you can go check out that video, because that video is where you would enter, not this one. It is the Flawless Foundation Conceal the Dior video, where you can enter a chance to win my very favorite foundation brush, which is the BK Beauty Angled 101 foundation brush, plus a couple of other goodies that I'm going to be throwing in. This is all to celebrate you guys helping me get to 8K here on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for the love and support. I want to thank you guys so much for watching another one of my videos. You all have a great day or night, wherever it is you all are at. Stay hydrated, guys. Drink your water. Cheers. And I will see you all very soon. Bye.